YouTube, Quinn Wade, coming to a prediction video again. This time it's going to be who will win the Executive of the Year for the 2025-2026 NBA season. I have a lot of guys that I have on my mind that I think can definitely win this award and should be in conversation to win it. The first one is Leon Rose. I think that him bolstering this bench and changing coaches is showing you that he's willing to take gambles and he's willing to take risk, even with the fan base, to win championships. You need somebody that's aggressive. You need somebody that can see the problems and hear the problems and willing to make the changes to keep the team as successful and on the same page as much as they can be. I think that firing Tom Thibodeau was a little bit of a shock, but some people saw it coming. But nobody really expected Mike Brown to be that coach that they replace him with. And it still looks like it's going to be a good decision. It still looks like it makes a lot of sense that he ended up doing that. I don't think none of us are really going to disagree with it because we have respect for Mike Brown as a coach. He's a guy that has always been a decent defensive coach as a head one, and he also has shown growth and improvement and maturation for the offensive end of the game of basketball. Plus, he has a lot of talent on his roster. You also need that to be able to compete. You also need that to look good too. You know, coaches can make teams look better than they are by, tell them how to run and how to fit together and how to play off of each other. But he has a lot of weapons that he can really, really use. And you got to give credit to Leon Rose for giving him those weapons and giving him an opportunity to show what he can do with the roster that's built right now. This is one of the most impressive rosters. They already was a conference final team and they found a way to get deeper. They found a way to get better. And that's something that we have to say Leon Rose should definitely be in that conversation to win this award. Another guy, Alex Martin for the Orlando Magic. Of course, I had to put him in there. Desmond Bane was one of the best pickups in the off season, and on top of that, he proved a couple years in a row that he's a potential all-star caliber player, a really good playmaker, a really good shooter from the three-point line. They're also getting Jalen Suggs back. They got Tyus Jones. I can go on and on and on. But Orlando made a lot of good moves to get this team deeper, and they made a lot of good moves that make sense with what they're trying to do on both ends of the court. So we have to give Alex Martin a lot of credit for playing his role and putting his team together and giving them the requisite talent that's needed to compete and also fit with what they're trying to do on both ends of the court. I would say Gillian for the Clippers, we have to give him credit because he made this team a whole lot deeper. I know they're old. I know they're a little slow athletically, but at the end of the day, they still know how to play the game. They still know how to play it the right way. They still know how to play together, even though they haven't been together that long. They're at a point in their career where they're past the individual accolades. They have 3 top 75 players of all time on their roster, and they have some other guys that's put up the numbers. Now they want to do whatever it takes to win, and they're willing to sacrifice touches and minutes to be able to do that. And you have to give credit to Gillian for understanding that this is where they're at in their career. This is what they're trying to achieve. We're on the same page with that because that's what we're trying to do here. And he's trying to keep that Kawhi Leonard decision to come to the Clippers to possibly win them a championship for the first time alive. To keep that window open up just a little longer. Well, we got to make this move. We got to make this move. We got to make this move to make that happen. And he did it. So now everybody's believing that the Clippers are one of the best teams in the NBA again, even in the tough Western Conference. If that's what people are thinking and that's what people are feeling, then we have to give him a lot of credit for getting us to feel that way. Another guy that I would bring up is Rafael Stone for the Houston Rockets. He traded a lot of guys this offseason, and he got Kevin Durant, one of the top players in the world, and he's an ideal fit, like you done heard this before, for the Houston Rockets. He may feel like they didn't give up that much. Rafael feels the same. That's why you make that deal 100 out of 100% of times, because you have a team that has a lot of young talent, has a lot of guys still trying to prove themselves, a lot of guys that do fit around Kevin Durant because they don't get in his way, they don't step on his toes, and he can just go out there and play his game and provide a lot of help in decision making and scoring that he always have has had in his career. They already showed that they're one of the better defensive teams without him, and he should be able to keep that going because he's not a bad defender himself. And the fit and the coaching staff and the players are all together and all got us looking at it like they got most of the things figured out. So that's why we have them as a team that can possibly win the championship. And Rafael Stone made us believe, well, this is a good team. Him and eBay did a good job, but nobody thought that the Rockets can actually win a title. People this year feels like they're one of the top four teams in the Western Conference and that they can get it done because their roster is that deep. They have young, athletic guys. They have guys that can get out in transition, guys that can play defense, guys that can shoot, guys that can score, and they found a way to put the guy that can do all of the above and help them close games also. And that's something that they didn't really have in the playoffs, and it showed. And they also didn't really have that sometimes in the regular season, although they had a good one anyway, a great one last year. I think that they're in store for an even better one this year, and that's why he's going to get credit as one of the guys that can win Executive of the Year. Another guy is Onsi for the Atlanta Hawks, getting Porzingis, Nickel, and all those type of guys made sense, and you get a healthy Jalen Johnson, and you look at this team and say Trae Young got some guys that really fit him, really plays well with them. They have a deep roster, and that's all that they really needed. They already have a head coach that understands how to get the best out of the team that he always has. He has always shown that he knows how to utilize his players the right way. And I'm looking at it like it makes sense for him to try to go all in with players that's available and try to build the best roster possible. And since that's what you're supposed to do as an executive, it makes perfect sense to put him in the conversation because he did that this offseason. Plus, he has a chance to make a little bit more moves as the season comes closer to the trade deadline to figure out what the things we need to add or what we need to subtract on to be able to get this roster where it needs to be in the playoffs. So we're going to see what he do with that. But based off what he did in the offseason, he was really impressive and really showed that we're really trying to win now to the best of our ability. And that's what a GM slash executive is supposed to do. Mike Dunleavy, I got to put him in that conversation too. Because, man, he did a good job of stalemating with Kuminga, then eventually getting him to sign us the deal that they both wanted to do, and they got the deal that they wanted him to take. And other than that, once they figured that out, they got some good veterans that fit their style of play and what they're trying to accomplish out there on the court with Steve Kerr as the head coach. And they all fit with Steph Curry too. They can shoot, they can play a little bit of defense, and on top of that, they got a big that can set screens, hit mid-range, three-point shots, defend the paint, and also finish around the rim too. And is a decent free throw shooter, and is one of the most team-friendly and unselfish, selfless players in the NBA. And that's what they was able to get soon as they was able to convince Kuminga to come back. So it all makes sense. It always has. And I feel like we have to give Mike Dunleavy a lot of credit for the roster that he has built in a short amount of time. Not only that, Sam Presti, he said, you know what, we got everybody back. Everybody's happy because we won the championship. Let's keep this group of guys together. We already know what we're trying to do. We already know what we need to do. We already got it done, and now let's see if we can do it again. But since we already proved that, that's the only goal, is to win as much as we can with the guys that we have. I'm going to give you an extension. I'm going to give you an extension. I'm going to give you an extension. And I'm not going to really try to change too much of what we did last year because I love what this team is about. And I love the team that I built. And I love the coaching staff that surround them. So let's keep everything positive. Let's make sure everybody's coming into the season as healthy as they can be, or let's get them to a point to where they are. And then let's run it back and see what we have. And then we can try to make the changes during the trade deadline or close to it. And also in the off season next year if things don't work out and we know it's the problem. So nothing completely went wrong. A lot of things went in their favor and went right. Now it's just up to let's see what we have and let's continue to compete and let's just take care of our own. And that's what Sam Presti did. But if I had to pick one guy, it's Ben from Denver. He was like, we lost to the Clippers. We came up short the last couple of years, and I wasn't even a GM. Everybody's saying get rid of Michael Porter Jr. He's overpaid, so let me get rid of him and let's just add a better bench and get better supporting cast players around Nikola Jokic while we still have him. He's one of the best, if not the best player in the NBA. Let's try to find guys that fits him, find guys that can play around him, and find guys that can help him on a perimeter so he doesn't have to be a rim protector or a guy that's playing out of his way defensively. And that's what he did. He went out there and got Cam. He went out there and got Bruce Brown and guys like that. He got guys that can score and space the floor. He got another big in Jonas. He really found a way to see the roster for what it is and make minor to slightly improvements to it, which most people thought that it really wasn't possible until he did it. So just because they did get deeper and they do have a legitimate roster around Jokic and he did make a lot of moves, I think that he made enough to where Denver should be improving and Denver should be better than they were last year. And if I had to be honest, that's why you will win Executive of the Year for those reasons. I don't think nobody really made moves that's as crazy as him besides Leon Rose. I feel like Leon Rose and him made about the same type of moves. Let's take a team that was already good and make them great. Let's take a team that's great and make them amazing and see what we can do with what we have, and we can figure out the rest again when the off season comes, because that's what you can do. You use a regular season to find out what works and what doesn't work, what you need and what you don't need, and either you fix that at the trade deadline or you fix it in the off season after you see what happens in the playoffs, and that will confirm if you did a good job or you didn't. But all I can say is I think Denver, I like them more than any other team with the moves that they made. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but I also would say I wouldn't be surprised if they did either, because I like their moves that much. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis and to get it when it first come out. I make conversation videos just like this about various NBA only topics. I also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. I also do mock draft and draft coverage. Plus I got over 3,000 plus videos that you can watch right now, and that's on my channel. Not only that, all I can say is hopefully you understand that I do upload videos each and every day. So you always going to have something to see and something to watch when it comes to basketball on this channel. And that's to give you a reason to support or be a subscriber. Other than that, thank y'all for appreciating my content for what it is and continuing to come back. Not only that, thank y'all for continuing to support and care about what I have to say and care about what I want to make and how I make it. And I love y'all mainly for that, to the point I had to say it twice in this video. I will see y'all later today with more instant analysis. Y'all know I got to do that. And there's a couple games still left on that didn't come on yet, but I'll be back later today with that, hopefully. Other than that, y'all stay blessed up. Peace, and I'll see y'all later.